Hello guys, as I promised, a new guide as to how I increased my overall damage output and my burst damage. Now, if you are new to Demon Lock, I strongly recommend looking on my basic guide and the 5.2 changes before you dive into this video, as this one is more about fine-tuning and I will not go over the basic in this one. Some of the things I'm going to show here you might already know. I have recently found or tested them and I feel like I can help others with sharing this and hopefully you guys can put it in use. First of all, let's look at how to increase Hand of Gul'dan damage. In the normal way, if we cast Hand of Gul'dan, your target will get hit for around 14k and will also be dotted for 6 seconds for 3.5k damage a second and slowed. If you hit the target again for 40k and the dot is still on the target, it is replaced with a new double stack 6-second dot that hits for 6.7k a second. Now you may or may not know this, but take a look what happens if I cast Hand of Gul'dan and while the meteor is falling I go into meta form. The damage is increased and now hits for 19k and ticks for 4.5k a second. The same spell was hitting 14k and 3.5 second ticks. Since we have a 10-second cooldown on meta form, we can't overuse this mechanic every time we cast Hand of Gul'dan. Therefore it will be best to switch in meta when the second Hand of Gul'dan is casted like this. Then we hit 19k again and dot ticks for 8k. Now the other benefit of using this on single target is when you want to go for a fast burst without the need to wait for fury, as I do a lot in arenas. You dot the target, call on Imp Swarm, use 2 rapid Hand of Gul'dans and when the second is flying I pop burst. Now I have around 300 fury at the moment and I sacked my pet as I show in previous guides. I have 5+1 imps from Demonic Calling, charging fury by 5 every fireball and a dot that adds fury as we go. Now it is important to know that Demonology Burst in PvE comes from Touch of Chaos and not Chaos Wave. So if you want to be able to push a lot of damage spamming Touch of Chaos for 40 fury rather than use 80 fury on 2 Chaos Waves will make more damage since we can cast much more and we are getting more fury over time as we go. If you want a helping macro to get used to this, I offer this one. It is best to use this after you place Corruption and Curse of Elements up on your Ferelguard is in melee range. This is to replace my old sustained DPS macro, but I do recommend manual use as you can get better results. Moving on, I'm quite sure I'm the only fool that didn't notice this before, but the unused damage PvP trinkets provide much less spell power than the proc one does. Actually, the proc one is about 45% more spell power, plus the internal cooldown for what I know is around 45 seconds down from 1 minute. Also, there is another hidden upside. When you burst using the unused trinket you turn red so everyone will know to see you run or pop defensive, while with the proc trinket you keep your normal colors making less alert players suffer much more. As I am also using tailoring as one of my profession and I level it for the increase on burst damage, I can proc an additional 2k intellect at around the same internal cooldown, and if you add that to Jade Spirit enchant on weapon for an additional 1.6 intellect, and my Orc Racial Blood Fury for 2.2k additional spell power, you can get up to this. The part I'm getting to now is still under testing, but I want to include you guys in it. Usually I recommend jamming PvP resilience as it is the best PvP stat, but at the moment, since I play a comp where I'm almost never the target and overall I feel quite good with my defensive, I decided to go more offensive so I will be able to put out more pressure. So I re-jammed and you can have a look in my armory. If you do look there, you will see I'm jamming intellect and not all PvP power. Now I ran some tests of my own on a full resilient warrior friend. with one-time PvP power stacking and one-time intellect stacking. The damage was the same, but since intellect also increases critical strike chance, it is resulting in more damage. Now, as I stated, this is not 100% valid data. As I was searching on this on the net, I did stumble across a formula stating that about 38% PvP power intellect starts to become the better stat. You are more than welcome to help with testing and keep me updated. Overall, thanks a lot for all the supports you guys are giving me. I'm happy to make more videos as I see more of your comments. The channel is slowly growing since I don't know how to get more people to come view it. If you have any advice or can help out, it will make me very happy. If you are not a subscriber yet, go ahead and subscribe as I bring more demonology content weekly. A like is a nice way to thank me back if I helped you out, and keep up the great comments as I enjoy them all. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time.